Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to episode 150 of S02 Let's Play. So in the previous episode, I got the production line for biofuel running and also the collection of oil. Oil is pretty much full already, and so is biofuel. Something I noticed actually is that steels also have a relatively large internal buffer. So while that's filling up, I actually noticed that all my fermenters are kept running and actually got to the point where I completely ran out of wheat. So this is why the compressed plants items thingies are actually very low, most of them, and yeah, my wheat farm will start running a little bit overtime at the moment. So for the time being it's going to start running. I also help it a little bit by emptying its inventory, because actually doing a full run eventually causes the car to start spilling out items, because it's actually too much for the inventory that it has. But yeah, okay, so if we go by the same pattern, previously I got biomass and then biofuel. So let's see, this the last thing I got was oil. Let's get fuel. Now fuel has pretty much, as far as I know, only one way to be achieved, which is by refineries. You simply dump oil into them, give them some buildcraft energy, because obviously they're buildcraft, and you get fuel. I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually place everything here as well, all the fuel related liquid production. Kind of makes sense in my mind, so let's go ahead and do it. I'm gonna I think I'm gonna build 8 of those refineries. Yeah, that seems to be looking good. So I'm gonna need 8 gears, 24 tanks, and some torches. So let's get some glass. Let's get those 24 tanks. Actually, I need one more stack. And also in the meantime, let's get some diamond gears. I did add the recipe some time ago, like 2 or 3 episodes ago. So all this is being crafted. Let's craft more tanks and get some redstone torches as well. Okay, and that should be good enough. And let's just get the diamond gears, 8 of them, and that should give me 8 refineries. Okay, so with the refineries, I'm gonna need the input for oil. I'm gonna need to move oil around, so I'm gonna go ahead and create another system to actually extract oil from here using the same thing that I've been doing so far. So let's get a liquid duct, some liquid ducts. Let's craft a little bit more of them. Let's also start crafting more tesseracts. Let's just tell the system to start crafting them, craft 10 of them. I'm gonna need them anyway eventually. And I'm gonna need the redstone torch. And I'm gonna need a new ender tank network. And since oil is black, let's go for black colored. So let's get some black wool. I'm gonna need just 2, one for the input, one for the output pretty much. Set the recipe with this and dump 2 of them in here and get 2 ender tanks. If you don't understand what I'm doing here, it's something I actually made previous episode. Because ender tanks have those 16 base color recipes, I kind of made this interface to always have those materials available. And whenever I want to create a specific color, I simply fill up the last spot in the recipe. The fabricator pulls all the items from the adjacent inventory, and the 2 wools that I've placed here are being used. Okay, so let's do this. So I'm gonna extract from this tank, and probably should fill this up so I have something to place the torch on. This here, and lastly the ender tank, which will be on this mode. Okay, and just do this, and now this ender tank will start having oil. Okay, so let's go sleep, get over the night. Okay, so I also started crafting some more liquid ducts. My tesseract production is really slow, and obviously there is a reason for that, but it's will change eventually. There is a very specific thing I'm going to do, which is obviously related to my liquid warehouse, and I'm actually going to change the way it's produced and also add the production line for the conduits So it's gonna get faster eventually, but for now it's really actually quite slow and a little bit annoying. Okay, so let's set it up. I'm gonna use, again, as I said, roughly the same space, mainly because I have this connection to the redstone conduits, and just, I know, it's logically feels right because all the refining is already taking place here, so why not just place everything here. Okay, so let's place the refineries roughly here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's rotate this. I like things rotated. Okay, so they're all looking the same direction. So there is basically an input, an output, and energy. So it should be roughly easy. Let's do it like I do it always. So all the output will be from the center into a tesseract. So a liquid tesseract that will be frequency 5, it will be the fuel network, and it will be sending only. And in my warehouse, I'm gonna set up the new tank, so I'm gonna need a valve. And I'm gonna place this block right here with a valve block, update it, place the tesseract, and change that to be the fuel network. And it will be receiving only. Okay, so that's fuel. And the input will be from the bottom. So let's break all these unnecessary sand blocks. This shovel is pretty crazy. Okay, so that's good enough. Liquid ducts, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're all gonna input from the same place. So let's have it right here with these black ender tank, and change the mode of that tank like this. So it's now all inputting oil or outputting oil, depends on how you look at it. And I'm gonna need to change the modes of all those conduits or liquid ducts to be extraction, and of course also give all of them a redstone signal. So let's replace some sand blocks and some torches. Oh wait, I need to move that ender tank from there. It's reacting to redstone signaling, so let's just move it here and place it right here. Same thing, just far away from redstone signals so it doesn't react to them. Okay, so all the tanks are already full with oil. So lastly, I just need to connect it to some sort of buildcraft energy. So let's just do that. So connect it right here. All of those, and bam, producing oil, producing fuel. They're all gonna start relatively slow, but they should speed up eventually. I think one energy tesseract might be actually quite limiting. Like one energy tesseract actually have a limit to how much energy it can move around, and refineries actually consume a ton of energy. So I think this is why it's relatively slow. I could, considering having another tesseract, another energy tesseract here, but I really don't think it's necessary. I'm not really gonna use fuel at the moment, to put it simply, so I really don't mind. But got a nice production rate, already 2 buckets. My oil should keep up. Let's actually go ahead and take a look on how is my small oil fountain that I found here doing. It seemed relatively large when I found it. Let's see if it actually is large or it just seemed to be. Ooh, the pump is going really down below. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so there is definitely an oil pool in the middle of a cave, which seems to be actually pretty nice. Yep, it seems to be quite large. It keeps going down further. Okay, there probably a lot of oil still left in here. So nothing to worry about too much in the near future. Although again, even though I said this warehouse will provide functionality, and it will provide functionality, mostly except for water and lava, I don't really know how much of it am I really going to access. Or maybe I will actually in the future eventually, but at the moment, if I don't have enough oil or enough fuel, it's not such a big deal. And already 5 buckets worth of fuel. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so got fuel done, got oil done, biomass, biofuel, water, and lava. Now, I've been talking about this in this episode and the previous one already. My next project will be Molten Redstone and Molten Ender. I'm gonna begin, I think, with Molten Redstone, just because it's a little bit easier, but I'm gonna do both pretty much now. The only real way to get both of them is through a magma crucible. There is no other way to do it. Simply dump either redstone or ender pearls into magma crucible and you get that liquid out of them. Now that liquid, even though it cannot be stored in buckets or cans or whatever, it can still be moved in liquid ducts and can still be stored in tanks, in Zycraft tanks or any other tank. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm considering whether or not do I want to have the production actually in my place and move it through a tesseract, or actually have the production over there, because I already have an applied logistics access point there and simply have no tesseract involved. I'm actually considering the latter option more to be more useful, because I think really it will be, I don't know, a little bit nicer instead of having it more tesseracts here. A little bit, let's have a variety. That's what I'm going for. So let's do that. So I'm gonna need some more valves, obviously. Let's go ahead and create a little bit more. Let's create 6. I think I actually can't create 6. Yeah, I can create 8. And replace some glass blocks with it. There is no other way. So let's have this and this. Now, the thing to consider though, if I have my thermal expansion machines, my magma crucibles right here, for example, I still need to have tesseracts, the energy tesseracts moving energy around. Now, since energy, when you move it with tesseracts, you actually have some losses. You lose 25% of the energy pretty much. But when you move liquid, you don't. I think, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna actually go ahead and have the production in my place and simply move it using liquid tesseracts, while I'm gonna actually produce it in my home and have direct access to energy, so there is no energy losses anywhere. So let's do that. Now I have a little bit too many tesseracts at the moment, but let's just go ahead and start using them. So let's place this here and this here. This will be redstone, molten redstone. So molten redstone, I should have actually placed the frequency first. Molten redstone, frequency 6, and 7 will be molten ender, frequency 7. This receives only, this also receives only. And let's set up the actual production line. So far I've actually created like either 16 fermenters or 8 stills or 8 refineries. For molten redstone and ender, I'm gonna go for 1 each actually, not any more than that. I really don't need any more than that. So for my production of tesseracts, I'm actually gonna break this because it's going to change. Let's break any existing recipes if there are any. Actually, there should be, because I did just tell my system to create, yeah, like 5 liquid tesseracts. Okay, I'm gonna break it later. Let's just make it first. Okay, so I'm gonna need 2 magma crucibles. Do I happen to have any lying around? Igneous extruders, nope. I need magma crucibles. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and make some new ones, so be right back. Okay, so 2 magma crucibles, 1 for each type of new liquid, and I can set it up. So I'm going to need magma crucibles, I'm going to need export buses, actually just 2, and potentially I'm going to need some more cables, well, it's a little bit unavoidable, but we'll need some more cable probably to pretty much just move things around. So ME cables, 29 will be enough, and I think that's it. Just gonna get some redstone and some ender pearls. So I have some examples, some example of items. Now also, as a result of this, as I've said, I'll be able to auto-craft all the redstone conduits, and also the production line of all the different tesseracts will be changed, because I'm gonna have molten ender as a resource, an available resource. Unlike I'm using it right now, which I need to cook it in order to produce it, it's gonna be an available resource, so it's going to change. Can I place this right here, actually? I think I can. Yeah, I think I can. Or you know what? Let's just break everything here. Yeah, all of this goes away pretty much. Well, not all of it. Okay, let's not break this then. Okay, magma crucible. I don't know how will it interact with those ender tanks. This is kind of the thing. Okay, let's have it like this then. Magma crucible here. Another one here. It's gonna be a little bit ugly, but I don't know. Or actually, you know what? Let's have it the other way around, so it's facing outwards. So let's have the second one here. Okay, they're both gonna accept input from the top, so they both have blue slots on their top. Let's disable everything else at the moment. And this one will be redstone. So on the right, it's gonna have the orange output. It's gonna have the liquid tesseract right here, which will be on redstone. And it will be sending only, it will be always active. And again, this one is redstone, so this one will have the export bus of redstone up top. The export bus will send redstone all the time, one at a time. And obviously when it will be connected, it will start working. This one will be for molten ender, so it's going to have the output on the left. And there will be the tesseract here, molten ender. And this one will be again sending only, just making sure this is also send only, yep. And the export bus here will send out ender pearls all the time, one at a time, and just simply lastly connect everything together. And they should all start working. And start storing redstone and molten ender all the time. Now again, since this warehouse is different from the rest of my recipes, like those are not recipes, those are not auto-crafting recipes, those are storage blocks. This is why I'm using export buses and not, for example, interfaces. And with custom recipes, I'm just always going to store ender here. Now what I'm going to do with this ender and molten redstone, that's something else altogether, but this will permanently now store some amount of ender and some amount of redstone, specifically 128 buckets. Now as a result, I'm going to change now my production of liquid tesseracts, my production of tesseracts basically. Not by much actually, but I'm going to change it a little bit. And also I can add the production of redstone stuff. So let's change that. If I'm gonna have, instead of this magma crucible right here, let's get rid of this. And let's get rid of this as well. And things are gonna start bouncing around. I'm gonna probably need to... Okay, let's break this, no other choice. Break this, and this can also go away, and reconnect this just so it doesn't forget. Let's do some changes. So I don't need the filter anymore, I don't need the tubes anymore, I don't need the relay anymore, and the recipe can be changed as well. And this can also be moved. A lot of things change the moment that happens, so that's kind of something for the better. So that goes away, and let's have the interface right here, and change the recipe for the tesseracts to, instead of requiring ender pearls, just require the tesseract frame. Let's have it on the center because we all have OCDs. And again, it's a custom recipe. It's going to create the N2 tesseracts. This is not a proper recipe. It cannot actually create it in the crafting grid, but I'm using it on an interface, so it's going to work on the recipes. So with one N2 tesseract, it's going to create a tesseract frame. Obviously, it's going to ignore the fact that this block will always have a constant supply of... actually, 1 second. Let's have this here, and this can go away, and this connected like this. Okay. Obviously, the recipe ignores the fact that this liquid transposer is going to always have a supply of molten ender. Now, how I'm going to do that is simply create another ender tank network. Let's go for, since molten ender is kind of this deep blue color, but since blue is already taken by water, let's go for the cyan wool. I like the way it looks kind of good. So let's again adapt recipe to be this color and place 2 of them here. And I think I should probably go sleep quickly before a creeper explodes everything. Okay, so I'm going to start outputting all the molten ender. There already seems to be a nice supply here, almost 15 buckets, now 15 buckets. Redstone obviously takes a little bit longer because I think the process of smelting redstone compared to smelting ender pearls is not the same time. It's a little bit faster, but per redstone you get a lot less liquid, so this is why it takes a lot longer to build up. And also my farm will start running again, my Enderman farm. Okay, I'm going to need, I've got the tanks, I'm going to need some liquid ducts, and I'm going to need some redstone torches to start pulling out molten ender. So this, replace it with a torch, this will be a liquid duct, and this will be an ender tank. Change the mode, and this now fills up. So now this tank will have molten ender. And simply finish the production line by adding the ender tank right here into here. And change the mode, of course, to this. So now this liquid transposer will always have molten ender. And simply whenever I need to create anything, whenever I need to create any of those tesseracts, or more precisely the unattuned tesseracts, it's going to simply dump those unattuned tesseract frames into here and create it without any problems. The production of pulverized obsidian and the electrum ingots and a hardened glass still stays the same. It has no difference. Just change the way I'm crafting the unattuned tesseracts because now I'm producing molten ender in a different way. And since this is pretty much done, I also actually want to add a production line for redstone conduits and mainly conduits. Batteries are not as important. Conduits are more important actually. Because mainly, since I'm using them quite a lot lately, it's kind of going getting sidetracked from my actual liquid factory or liquid warehouse. Just since I'm using them quite often, I just want to add them. I've got an extra magma crucible now because I destroyed an existing one. Let's get rid of things I don't really need. Okay, so let's add a recipe to add redstone energy conduits. It shouldn't be too much complicated. All I need is another liquid transposer, which will have an access to molten redstone, which is not a problem, and an auto production system to create hardened glass and electrum ingots. Now, funnily enough, I just already have it available for my other things. So I already have electrum ingots and hardened glass available. For my liquid ducts, I think liquid ducts require, yeah, I got hardened glass for my liquid ducts, but I've got the unattuned things. I got the electrum ingots for the unattuned tesseracts. So I've got both, kind of by accident, so that's pretty good. So let's just add the normal crafting recipe to create the unattuned conduits. So I'm going to need some hardened glass, and I'm going to need some electrum ingots. and of course a blank pattern. So if I place it like this and this, I get 4 of those empty conduits. So let's add that recipe. Again, I finally got to the 5th page, my last page of the molecular assembler. I will need a couple of them just to have some reference. How they're called? Energy conduit. Okay, empty. Okay, so I'm going to have some just for reference crafting. So basically the custom recipe will say, if you give me one of those, I'll give you back one of these. Now, obviously it's going to use molten redstone in the process, but that's not something the interface is going to worry about. I'm going to need a liquid transposer. Do I happen to have one? Yeah, I've got one. And also going to need a new network of ender tanks. Now again, molten ender is red, but lava is also red and it's already taken. Let's go for something else. Let's go for purple maybe, or orange. Can change my lava to be orange and then use. No, but it's gonna require a ton of changes afterwards. Or actually not. No, it's gonna require a ton of changes. Let's not. Okay, so I'm gonna unfortunately be forced to use orange for molten ender. So it's kind of mixed all around, but just easier than start to change everything all around now. Okay, so molten redstone will be into my orange. This is so disorienting, having lava red and orange redstone. Okay, but I'm gonna simply go ahead and do this. So liquid ducts, some redstone torches. It's gonna have a very slow production rate at the beginning, but over time it's gonna improve. So place this torch here, have this, why did I break this? Have this here, change the mode to this, and by default this fills up. And add the production of conduits. Gonna simply place the liquid transposer here on one of those lines. Let's use it right here. Let's okay, let's add some relays to the system and move things around. So this goes away, this also goes away. This will be a liquid transposer. Let's disable all inputs to begin with. This on filling up, yep, fill up mode. The top will be blue, everything else disabled. It will be receiving the liquid from the left, or actually, yeah, it's fine like this. I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. And I'm getting a little bit confused at the moment. Why is this receiving? Oh, it's rotated around. Okay. Okay, let's rotate this. It's a little bit confusing. Okay, so now it receives the inputs from here. This will receive the input from the left. So this is the orange tank. Let's have it on export mode. And I'm gonna need 2 relays here, each one facing the respective tesseract. Let's place and rotate. Okay, and I'm gonna need 1 import bus to import all the outputs. So take that and place it here. Let's have it on the same mode, so there is no need for stacks. You can move it on single items. And I'm gonna have one of them on the top, the other one on the side. Interface. And if you don't know why I'm doing this, I have this kind of paranoia that I don't want interfaces touching each other. So I always use those relays as kind of a bridging block in between, so I can place machines next to each other, but the actual interfaces not next to each other. Okay, so this creates unattuned tesseract, so this goes here. This creates the empty redstone conduits, it goes here. And lastly, let's make sure that everything is connected. Everything should be connected. Yep, everything is indeed connected. So now I should have a very easy creation system for everything. In case I want conduits, I can simply come here and ask for some. It's going to quickly create those energy conduits and then create this. Although it doesn't. Why doesn't it? What's the problem? Oh wait, the output needs to be... Oh! Now I know why it was rotated like this. Okay. Let's rotate it to the back. And have this being blue. Okay, and this be universal. And again, same here. So this blue and this universal. And now now I've got my redstone conduits. So I can go ahead and start creating a little bit more. For example, I've got those 7. Let's go ahead and create 7. So it's simply going to dump those 7 empty conduits that I had and I'm going to start crafting those redstone energy conduits. Awesome. So I've got molten ender storage, I've got molten redstone storage, and I updated my production line for the tesseracts and added the production line for redstone conduits. I could also add, if I really want to, I could also add a storage auto-crafting recipe for the storage blocks, for the redstone storage blocks, those. It's actually not that hard. Can use the same tesseract pretty much. Just need to add a production line for those things. And because it uses the same system, the transposer system, there is really no trouble doing that. I'm considering whether or not I really want to add it or not because I'm not using those cells too much. Although adding that wouldn't be too much of a trouble if I want to. Let's see. Okay, so looking at the episode length, whether or not I'm going to add that recipe or not, I don't really know. But I'm going to end this episode right now. So I got myself, this time I got fuel production, almost a full tank already. I got myself molten redstone, which is actually relatively slow, so it's not even getting close to being a full tank. And I've got myself also molten ender production, which goes a little bit faster because molten ender is easier to smelt or smelts faster and creates more. But that's it. So we'll see in the future what else I'm going to get, which type of liquids. I already got my mindset of a couple of ideas. Most of them, again, are pretty much already existing networks or something which is relatively easier to produce. But out of 12 tanks, already using 6 or already using 8, I've got 4 more available, and then I'm going to probably need to expand if I want to keep going with this. Okay, so until next time, as always, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.